Randy, what's up, man?
What's up?
So you're not Kelsey,
I am not
the total boss, but Kelsey is here helping us out for a little bourbon on the cast. We're going off the rails today, guys. Little Whistle Pig 12 year. Just a little taste. A little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. If you guys are watching right now, you can see Finn's in the room. We got Kelsey here. We have a live audience today, guys. And we have Mr. Randy Kaufman, a.k.a. Rodney, a.k.a. Hangry, Angry Randy. And we'll get into why he was angry most recently. But nonetheless, guys, thank you guys for joining us today. We are in for a fun conversation with Mr. Randy. Let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Paving the Way. As you guys know, I'm Daniel Wright, and we've got Mr. Randy Kaufman here. For those of you that don't know, Randy does all of our media, digital media, and he's rapidly learning about just digital marketing and all sorts of crazy things that we throw him into. This poor guy was just pouring a beer one night at Royal Bliss, and next thing you know, he's traveling across the country with us with cameras in our faces. So appreciate you coming, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
I say appreciate you coming. Like, guys, we're at our office. Okay. So Randy's office is actually right next door. So he didn't travel very far. I just kind of caught him on the way out and said, hey, what are you doing for the next 20 or 30 minutes? He said, absolutely nothing. I have no life. So
that is a true statement.
So, well, cool, man. Well, obviously, so you're on, this is episode 101. Last one was 100 with Kelsey. So that was kind of a big milestone. If you guys saw the beginning, we got freaking bourbon going here. We have a dog in the office. We have a live audience. We have Randy. Like, Randy was just asking. He said, should we get rid of Paving the Way and just say off the rails?
Yeah.
Like, it's just off the rails with Daniel, right? Like,
I think it's just more fitting.
Yeah, we're just going crazy. 100 episodes gives you the privilege to just do whatever you want, apparently.
Yeah.
So, cheers to that.
With my Celsius.
I already had my first Form energy drink. So, man, it has been a minute since I've had Whistle Pig 12 year. That is delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, cool, man. Well, for those of you who don't know Randy, let's go ahead and let Randy introduce himself. Who is he? Where you come from? What got you to this point? What do you do?
Well, I'm originally from Indiana.
Yep.
Where Daniel grew up as well. Right after high school, I would have moved out to North Carolina with my family. About a month later, moved into my freshman year at college at Liberty University. And as of 2 years ago, graduated, did a lot of freelance work with videography, chased after my dreams in video and content creation. Spent a lot of time bartending throughout college, and it's kind of how I paved the way for my life for a while. But this guy over here sitting across from me came in on a Wednesday night because Kelsey had book club, and the rest is history. And now I am known as Rodney, Angry Hangry Randy. But it's been a journey. It's been a blast coming on board here. I used to do a lot of racing content, helping a friend out with that, and just whatever I could get my hands on. So this is definitely a change of pace for me. A lot of learning, a lot of growth that I still have ahead of me.
Well, still have. What are you like? You're like 21, aren't you?
Yeah.
23-ish?
24.
24?
Turn 25 next month.
Next month.
Yes.
Kelsey, do you have that noted? Okay. 25 next month. You're a quarter of a century in a month.
Let's not talk about it.
Man, I remember those days. Like it was 8 years ago. Whew. Well, that's cool, man. And you guys, I mean, that's exactly what happened. I literally met him at the brewery on a Wednesday night because Kelsey kicked me out of the house because she was having a bunch of girls over. And so the brewery's right by our house. I go have a beer, have dinner Wednesday night. I'm like, hey, so what do you do? He's like, oh, I do some videography. I'm like, well, ever had any interest in doing it for a company? And you're like, yeah, I could try that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been wild. Having an in-house media person has been something that, within the network of the top contractor school stuff, which I mean, you guys who's been listening along, you guys know I refer to that a lot. It's those are probably some of my closest friends that I have, peers that will hold me accountable. They say there's a saying that's been coined as of recent about they're your real good friends, not your feel good friends. They're people who just tell you how it is, regardless of how it makes you feel, right? But it's been talked about a lot for the last, gosh, probably a year or two, if not longer, about like the importance of having somebody to like document your company's journey. Not just a marketer, not somebody just to run ads or just to, you know, bank up a flyer or something like that people stereotypically think of with marketing, but really to have somebody with the day and age we're in with the media and social media, that it's like you need to have somebody around constantly to be able to like document the journey that the company is on. So I finally, when we brought you on, it was kind of on like a contract basis, like paid you like per day or per hour, or however it was. And then finally, after like 2 months, I'm like, do you just want to like come on board full time?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I think I would like that, So
I think at that point I was already like bought in on like where we were going as a company.
So lean into that then. What is it in the first 2 months when you were here? I mean, I say just like you're here shooting content, editing videos. Like you didn't really work from the office. Like I think we had maybe had a little station where you kind of would work actually, I think at this table at that point, because we didn't have the whole setup we've got now. But I mean, what was it that in 2 months you're saying that you were kind of bought into where the company was going that made you want to jump in full time?
Well, I think after doing a couple of shoots with the guys on the job site and just kind of seeing the way that everyone interacted with one another and just like the drive and motivation that you have to make everyone have like your main goal is to make sure that everyone in the company can fulfill their dreams. And that's the biggest identifier for me, because I can see how we incorporate all of our core values, and like not many companies, like most companies have core values, but I right away knew that was like an important statement or placeholder that you made sure that like this is what we stand by, building those relationships, helping other people, creating great experiences, just being sure that everyone is pushing towards the same goal. That is just something that I bought into. And it was more so like me just like out on the job site shooting the guys, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I edited the videos, but I want more.
Okay.
So
yeah. So, okay. So that makes sense. If I'm understanding correctly, it was you saw kind of where we were going, what was important to us, but there was that innate side of internal side of you that you wanted more, not necessarily just more of what Proline was doing, but like you for yourself wanted more, right?
Yeah.
So where does that drive come from? Like, where does Randy Kaufman get that drive to want more? Because a lot of 24-year-old guys that I know, or that I know of, I don't really want to say I know them because I don't associate with them like that. But a lot of 24-year-old guys out there, like they're just like on the treadmill and they're fine with it. They're just kind of doing the same shit, different day, paying the bills, getting by, going out on Friday, Saturday nights, recovering on Sundays and doing it all again Monday through Friday. So like, where's that differentiator come from in your life that says, man, like I see something that I want more of? Whereas a lot of people your age will sit and say, man, like I'm good. Like I like the freedom. I like the freelance, no commitment, no strings attached.
It's a big question.
I know. I like big questions. Ask Kelsey about it. I like going deep.
No, for the most part, it's just like, I mean, my main like motivator comes from all the way back when I was in college. Like I was going out, I was living the young life, having fun with my friends every weekend. And then it got to a point where I was just like, wasn't fulfilling. I had, I guess my main focus switched into the idea of, if I continue doing this for the next 10, 15 years, like now I'm 30, 40 years old, and I'm still doing that, or like I'm going to be way behind in the goals that I have set in place for me. So I guess back in college is kind of where I flipped the switch, because I saw, like, I started getting to the point where, you know, I'd go out to the bars with the friends, and I just like I could visually see like, okay, this is starting to become something that I don't want to turn out to be like these people. So I kind of had to flip the switch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got that from.
Okay. What did your friends think about when you kind of started flipping that switch? How'd that go for you?
Don't get me wrong, I still like to have fun.
Well, I mean, obviously I do too, guys. I mean, we're having bourbon at 7:00. No, it's not actually 7:00. You guys know that. It's like 5 on a Friday. So
no, it kind of came down to, you know, I kind of like to use the term that like I still chat with some people from college, but that's about as far as it goes. And just like, you know, sharing memories, or like say, hey, remember when this happened? This was a pretty fun time in my life, whatever.
Yep.
But I guess I kind of just had to cut off some people, move on, and just be okay with that.
Yep.
It's hard to do that with, you know, people you spent 4 years of your life with, like going through school and the hard stuff. So, but I knew by doing that with a lot of those people, like it would just be for the better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you don't, I mean, that's just, they become anchors.
Yeah.
Right. Anchors, parachutes, whatever it is, they're slowing you down. And if you finally make that revelation that you want to have a different life than maybe what they're going for, which again, it's not like that I won't say that there's nothing wrong with their life. I mean, it's definitely not the most productive or conducive to like success and freedom and fulfillment. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live a life where you have fun. Like we have people like in our own families that like they are very much free-spirited people. Like Kelsey's sister, she is literally traveling abroad over like in Asia or something like that right now, like Thailand and stuff like that. I think it's cool as heck. I could never do that. That's not fulfilling to me. But that doesn't mean that it's any like worse of a thing to do or whatever. Like she's having a blast. Like she's still able to work remote, like her job, she's able to work remote and be able to like live out a dream that she's had. So it's not always about saying that like one path is better than the other, but like you kind of said, is like you personally had a revelation in college where it was like, I don't want this. Right. So like, I don't want that path. But man, making that cut, like it took me personally, like it took me moving across the country from Indiana to North Carolina to make that cut, you know? And when I did, I got down here and I still didn't know what the heck I was doing. I never went to college, so I never had that time to go out and party. So I did it while I was an adult, you know, that's way smarter. Let's be honest, not. And it's way more expensive to do it as an adult because you're out at public places, not at college dorms, having a fun time. But nonetheless, I can definitely relate to what you're saying, is where you had to kind of make that switch and figure out where you were wanting to go. And you lose friends along the way. And I don't think there's any animosity. I think there's probably people who talk crap about you and you don't know about it. They're like, oh, Randy's too good for us now.
Keep chirping.
Keep chirping. That's right. That's right. You know, I've talked about it before that, you know, me personally, like I like the fact of trying to prove my believers right. You know, I'm more like, that's more motivating to me than proving haters wrong. And ironically enough, like I did a podcast, I don't know, a couple of weeks back about haters and how like, yeah, I don't really have a lot of haters. Well, apparently like right after that podcast, like I got news that apparently I have haters, and it kind of made me happy because it's like the old saying, like if you don't have people who don't like you in your life, it means you've never stood for anything. Like you've never gone out of the norm. So if you didn't take that step to get out of what everyone else was doing, all those friends would still like you. You'd still be hanging out with them and you'd still be doing the same shit that everyone else is doing, getting the same shit that everyone else is getting. Again, not saying that their life is bad. I don't know these people, but you know, they're not on the rocket ship to Mars. Right? Yeah. So
I'm buckled up already.
Do what?
I'm buckled up already.
Buckled up. You better be buckled up. It's wild around here. Yeah. But no, so that's an interesting that you had that revelation in college. A lot of people, it takes them to get to their, like where you're at now, like that mid-20s or so, to kind of start seeing that. And some people, like you said, get to 30 or 40 and they're still living that life. So what would you say has been one of your like biggest influencers in your life, like a person you look up to the most, and why?
Jeez. Gosh. You're loading me with questions.
I know you love to talk.
I know.
The guy's behind this. So he's normally behind the camera, but as you guys see, he's in front of it. And if you're not watching this, he's in front of the mic. So he's having to talk and not just tell people what to talk about.
Yeah. That is a powerful question that I don't think about every day.
What's the first person that come to mind?
My biggest motivator?
Yeah, your biggest influencer.
Influencer.
Yeah, like who do you look up to the most?
I look up to my family as a whole.
Okay.
They've been with me and they've helped me through a lot of hard times.
Yeah.
But most importantly, my family. I've mentioned my friend Corbin.
Yeah. He's up in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Yep. He does videography.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been, him and my other friend Luke, like our little trio of friends. Like since I've moved from Indiana, we've stayed really close and in touch. He actually went a year to Liberty too.
Okay.
So we kind of stayed in touch there. But, Corbin's the result of me getting into videography. He's responsible for me following that dream. And then just with going back to my family and the aspects of that, there was times in college where financially I wasn't there and wasn't in the right set mind for it, for certain things. And they just kind of helped me through that. And then now recently, my oldest brother really just, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago. Well, I guess I can dive deeper into this question, but being in videography and freelancing isn't always the most steady income flow.
Mm-hmm.
So doing it for 2 years freelance wise, like family members and they started to like question like I would say, especially my parents more than my siblings, but family members started questioning like, is this the right path that you're heading down? And I said, watch me. I'm going to make it happen one way or another. I'm not all the way there to where I want to go and be, but I'm making the right steps towards that direction.
Yeah.
And over the holidays, which would have been like 2 months ago, I had my older brother look me in the eyes and tell me that he's proud of me for pushing through and making sure, he was probably the biggest one. Say, oh, your camera, it's just a hobby. Mm-hmm. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
But just to hear him say, I'm proud of you for pushing through and doubting or letting us doubt you and use that as a motivator.
Yep.
But now I know, just with the whole family aspect, my family, I would say we're all pretty close.
Yeah. You talk a lot about them, and you talk highly of them. Mm-hmm. Like you talk about the support you've gotten from your parents, and you look up to them, and your relationship with your brother, or your sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a little harder now because we're all out of the house.
Yep.
So parents are adjusting to living at home by themselves without the kids at the house.
Yep.
We all live like 30 minutes away from each other, so we're not as close knit as we were. But I say overall, we all get in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
We're bros, we're sisters.
Yep. Brothers. That's how it is, man. It's a weird dynamic. Your relationship with your siblings is a wild thing. So I'm the oldest in my family, mm-hmm. and I've been told that, not necessarily directly from my siblings, but I've been told in a roundabout way that my parents have told me that if I tell, one of my younger brothers or sister or whatever that, if I tell them hey, I'm proud of you or whatever, they'll sit and say, "Oh, thanks," that's that, and we just kind of carry on with life. Well, I've learned apparently that carries a lot more weight than what they let meets the eye. Right. So, like you're saying, when your older brother told you that, based off of the type of relationship you're saying you guys have as a family, like that probably carries a little bit more weight with you than like when he told you that. You're probably like, "Yeah, thanks, man. Like I told you I would." You kind of have that little cocky little brother.
Exactly how I sounded.
Yeah, it's that like a cocky little brother response, but still saying thank you because you're mature now. But it's like I think the older siblings should know that, like how much, providing that there's a good, healthy relationship in it. Like, because I understand that there's some relationships with siblings or family members that is not ideal, and I get all that. But in the good, the good, healthy relationships that we have, like siblings need to realize, I think, how much weight that they carry with each other. Like it makes me feel good as an older sibling when I hear that one of my younger ones looks up to me. And I'm like, if only they saw the crap that I've done, like they would not. But like, that's not what they look for. They look for the stuff that they want to emulate, right? Yeah. So I'm sure there's things that you probably look up to in your older brother. I don't know much about him. What's his name?
Logan.
If you're listening to this, come by the office. I hear you live around 30 minutes from here. So we'll have you here. We'll go to lunch.
He'll play some golf.
He plays golf?
He'll destroy you though.
Oh, everybody will destroy me. Like let's be honest. I'm lucky to like hit 120 on 18. So, but no, that's fine. Like bring Logan out here. We'll have fun. So I like to meet people's families who's here.
Yeah.
Because they are part of what makes you you.
Yeah.
And you're part of what makes us us. So it's like the more we can learn about that, the more we can go deep into that, the better success we're going to have as a group. So that's why like at our Christmas party, when we have like, that's like, well, actually we did it twice last year. We did our summer quarterly outing where it was like family was invited, as well as like the Christmas party, spouses, significant others and stuff. But it's because that's just what you have to do. You have to get to know the families of the people who's part of your family. It's almost like a marriage, right? Well, you're not married yet. You don't know. Good luck. But part of that is when you get married, if you get married, some people don't want to get married. That's fine. You do what you want to do. But you marry that person's family.
Yeah.
When we hire people at the company, we also hire their family.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily directly, not meaning that they're here every day, but the people who come here every day, they bring their family life with them.
Yeah.
Some companies, they say, hey, check your baggage at the door, right? Check your drama at the door. And I agree with that to an extent, right? There should be that just like level of maturity and professionalism that you can like say, hey, I got to check this at the door. But, and obviously, I mean, like, it sounds like, like your brother was like, he was sick a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff where like, you're like, hey, I got to go help out, get some stuff taken care of, whatever it was. Like, we get that because we're real people living real life. Yeah. So like, I don't think, I'm not trying to say this to sound like conceited or anything, but it's like, we didn't question when you're like, hey, I'm going to be working remote today. I got to go help the family handle some stuff.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
So like we've had some people like their parents come by, stop in and say, hey, to their kids or drop something off, whatever it is. Cause we have a lot of young people working here, your age and younger. I mean, hell, our average age is probably about 22-ish, 22, 23, I would say. So it's just fun. That's cool to hear that your family is a big supporter of you, as somebody that you look up to, and it helps push you to be a better guy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier when you made the change or the choice to make a change in your lifestyle about like in college, when you said like, this isn't going to like, it's not going to work for my goals. What are your goals?
My goals personally, I guess, being from a faith-based family, I have goals to have family, have kids. I want to raise kids. I want to experience that. But most importantly, I just want to live a fulfilling life of like helping other people achieve what they want to achieve. Like, I know you, that's why I look up to you, because that is like over anything else that goes around in this office or out on the job site. Like, you make sure that that's the number one identifier going forward. It's like, if you want to come in here and you want to put in the work, I'm going to make sure that even if this isn't what you want to be your dream and you want to go do it somewhere else, I'm going to make sure that you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, just I would say that's probably like one of the top core values for me is just helping people.
Helping people.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about that, is helping people like literally anything, anywhere.
Yeah.
Like something as simple as holding the door for somebody, or as, magnificent as paving the way for them to build their dreams.
Yeah.
Right. So no pun intended.
Yeah. It's a great title.
Better than Off the Rails.
We may have to make another podcast for that one.
Paving the Way After Dark.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. If only you guys knew what we were talking about before we hit record on this. Apparently I've learned that in the podcast world that's a normal thing. Like, to kind of like get in the zone to actually have a conversation. Because like, if we just literally came in here, sat down, and hit record, y'all would be bored as shit right now.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a very uncomfortable conversation because it'd be very scripted, and I was not scripted. There's no script anywhere, actually.
No.
No show notes, no any of that
I even
stuff.
asked you what you were going to ask me about, and you said, just wait.
Yeah. Why? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're just sitting here. We're just kind of letting it go. But no, man, it's fun. Doing this journey together it's a lot of ups and downs. But I think a lot more ups than downs. I think that the ups carry us through the downs. You've been with us at the company
6 months.
6 months. So you're right at that 6 month mark. Yeah. So you've mentioned something before that I want to know a little bit more details about. So you've gotten the opportunity to come on a couple of trips with Kelsey and I.
Oh God.
And
I should have saw this one coming.
Yeah. So you've said that, man, like every trip I go on with you guys, I learn a little bit more about you. So can you enlighten not just me, but all two people listening to this podcast right now? What have you learned about Kelsey and I on our trips that we go on together? And well, I'll give you a minute to think about that. Okay. So you can just like think while I talk to myself. So just so you guys know, the 2 trips we've gone on, we brought him to Pittsburgh last fall for a TCS meetup. That's where he came up, and that was kind of one of his big first, like recording a lot of content at one time. Traveled with us, went to the Paving Group headquarters. We did a whole meetup there where I got the opportunity to teach teach like a segment or like a workshop on goal setting and strategy, which ironically enough, if any of you TCS people are listening, I told you guys that, like, I don't know why you asked me to teach goal setting and strategy. Well, literally those words have like not stopped coming out of my mouth for the last 2 months, because apparently at the beginning of years, you set goals and figure out the strategy to achieve them. So apparently y'all can read the future and like knew what I needed to learn about to teach it. So thank you for that. Really appreciate that push, because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing when I was talking to everybody. So if anybody sat in that workshop, forgive me. I had no idea what I was doing then, but I have a little better idea now. Anyways, that monologue. Oh, the other trip. So that was the first one that Randy came with Kelsey and I on. And that was Kelsey's first trip to like really participate in a business trip or things like that we do. The last trip was to San Antonio, Texas, which if you guys haven't seen it, our vlog is out on the YouTube. It's about 11 minutes. That is going to be the most golden 11 minutes of your entire life, because you get to hear Kelsey laugh, and you get to see me smile occasionally, and you get to see JJ do some ridiculous things.
If you do watch the vlog, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
I need feedback to know if I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, we don't put that crap out there just for our own entertainment. Like, golly. I mean, geez. Leave a comment. Share it. Like it. Something. Subscribe. We hit 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
We're over 2,000 on Instagram.
We're making progress.
Yeah. Make it happen. So anyways, those are the 2 trips that we've gone on that Randy has told us that he gets to learn about Kelsey and I when we go on these trips. So I'm really curious, because I asked you this yesterday. Randy, what do you learn about us when you go on these? And you're like, oh, just stuff. You didn't really have an answer. But now you're like in the hot seat, so you don't have a choice but to answer.
I guess I just I learned about how to interact with you guys. And a lot of I see Kelsey's over here laughing. I haven't even gone into description of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, guys, like we say, we have a live audience. The total boss is supervising this, so we don't limit anything around here.
I would say I've learned some good things overall. Just to kind of see every place that I've worked in, like I've been in the restaurant industry, like it's fawned upon to have a significant other work in the same environment around you.
It's frowned upon? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's fawned upon.
Like, fawned upon?
Frowned upon.
What are you saying right now?
I don't know.
How do you spell it?
That's a good question. You're just no. Just
it's not good.
Don't do it.
So it's frowned upon.
Frowned upon. That's the word I was going for.
You said fawned upon.
Did I?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell fawned upon is, but I think we figured it out.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay, so it's frowned upon.
I didn't say I was smart.
You can hit play on a video camera, but that's about all you got going. So he says frowned upon.
Frowned upon
with a significant other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it just allows for conflicts. But I've been able to see how you guys.
Are you saying we don't have conflicts?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying okay. So let me get to my story.
Let's okay. All right. Get to the story. Yeah.
I think overall, like I think I've just been able to really appreciate like that. You know, you brought Kelsey on full time and being able to see how you guys interact with one another, and you guys are both pushing the pendulum forward together. And you don't see that in a lot of companies. You don't. But I mean, that's just from my experience and just from what I'm used to, and you don't usually see it. But no, and I've also learned that Kelsey is like a fifth grader on a field trip when you put an 1800s actors in front of her.
Yeah, the drummers and the gun shooter. Yeah.
But
you see the vlog.
No, it's just fun. It's and I think mostly I've just been able to like get to know you guys more on a deeper level, and kind of build that family aspect out of it. And I look up to both of you guys and what you guys are providing for my life. So
I appreciate that. Why you keep trying to like fluff us up over here? You trying to get a raise?
No comment.
That's a yes. All right, so let's get the audience involved on this. Randy's raise.
Oh gosh.
So if you think Randy needs a raise because of all the freaking awesome media you guys have been seeing get pumped out over the last 6 months, drop a comment. Tell us why. Tell us what you love. Tell us what needs improved, right? You said you want feedback.
I want feedback.
Yeah.
I want to know.
So we can put an unofficial, because that would be very unethical and probably illegal in most places to do, but we can put an unofficial wager on Randy's raise will be determined on the amount of interaction we get with this. And you know what? I'm going to even specify a little bit more, the amount of comments. Let's go for comments. So every comment,
I gotta repurpose a lot of this podcast.
Yeah, this could get really dangerous here. So based off the number of comments, we will figure out a formula for Randy's raise. So, and it can't be the same person commenting a letter for like every one of comment they want to make. So like if it's like a I like this, you can't do like one for ILIKE. Like don't try and bullshit a bullshitter. All right.
What's funny is it's probably only gonna get like maybe one comment.
Maybe.
I'll
give you a comment.
You'll give me a comment?
Maybe.
Okay.
Depends on how much whistle pig I have.
Get a whole bottle.
Comment on my own podcast over here. But no, like for real, guys, like show some feedback on it. Like we've been really trying to obviously step up our game from a media standpoint. Anybody who knows me knows that my standards and expectations are anything but low. I push hard. I have high expectations, high standards, high requirements, and I don't take anything less than I won't say anything less than excellence, but when it comes to an effort standpoint, like anything less than max effort is not tolerated, right? Because everybody operates at different levels. Everybody's at different, like this is your first full-time position doing this work. So I can't expect you to be putting out the type of work that someone who's been doing it for 10 years has, but I can expect max effort.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, guys, like for any other leaders out there, business owners, managers, whatever it may be, when you're kind of evaluating where your team is at, it's not always about the results that is produced. right? That's a super important part of it, right? If you were putting out freaking, third grade level videos of like something you just, I don't know, like randomly came up with, whatever, I don't know, something horrible, that's a different story. But if a person is coming on board and they are putting out acceptable and above work for you and they're putting in max effort, like that stuff should be taken into consideration. Like there is a level of appreciation that should be shown for someone that's willing to put in that kind of effort, because that's something, it doesn't take skill, it doesn't take talent, anything like that. That's a character thing. So somebody who wants to come in and put in effort, that is absolutely a character thing, and that should be rewarded, because you can't teach that. You can't teach putting in effort. You just choose to do it or not. We can teach you how to do media. Well, I can't teach you how to do media stuff. People can teach you how to do media stuff. They can't teach you how to put in effort. So those types of things, guys, like I know for me personally, that's one thing that's a big thing that I take into consideration, whether it's when evaluations come around, bonuses, pay raises, whatever it may be, or just a simple thank you for people, is like, hey, I really appreciate the effort that you're putting in, because you're putting in a higher level of effort than whether it's your peers, whether it's other people we've worked with, people I know, whatever it is. And like, you should recognize that stuff. So leaders out there, how do you guys recognize effort in your team? Because that's something I think you need to do. But
yeah. I think I can go off of that too, is like a caveat to what I was talking about earlier, about how like your number one thing that you focus on is making sure that people fulfill their dreams. And so I guess that's kind of a motivator for me when I come in here. I mean, initially when I started, you didn't require me to come to the office. But I knew that if I was going to buy in on this mission, I was going to go all in, and you were going to fulfill that dream for me, because I know that's the type of person you are. Now, if you were a boss that just didn't really care about their employees and cared about themselves, I wouldn't be bought into a situation like that. So I guess that's just kind of the main motivator for me, is I guess a pat on the back to you.
Another one. My back's getting wore out over here.
No, like I think I can speak for I can probably speak for everyone here at the company as like a thank you for paving the way for our lives. Because I guess your title has over 100 analogies by now of ways we can use that. But yeah, that's kind of.
I appreciate it, guys. At that, we're going to go ahead and end the podcast, because I just got a really nice compliment. We got nothing else to talk about here.
No.
No, for real, man. I appreciate that. Like, you know how it is. Like, I'm not somebody who I don't like the stage, the spotlight, the attention, whatever it is. But obviously, it feels good. So there's a lot of days, a lot of nights where sitting here trying to freaking figure it out, and sometimes you have no idea if it's going to work or not, but you keep showing up the next day. So, and you guys do the same thing. I mean, it's a growing company, and it takes the same amount of commitment from you guys. I'm not sitting here working at a Fortune 500 company yet, but it's commitment, it's trust, it's faith, it's everything. Putting it in. So
yeah, I guess I want to jump into a question for you.
Oh boy, here we go, guys.
So at the trade at Pavex, you did your episode where you came around and asked everyone, like, if we did a podcast, what would you want to talk about? I guess my main thing for me is what is the main thing that flipped the switch for you? I know you were a full-time fireman. You had everything lined up for you, retirement, everything that being a first responder has. What would you say outside of your entrepreneur spirit that you've had since you were young? What would you say is like the main reason for you to just buy in on Proline?
So that specific question, to go in on Proline, the big thing that got me in on that one is, and I'll try to keep it with as minimal words as possible and just get more to the point, because Kelsey tells me I go around the rainbow to get a pot of gold, whatever the hell that means.
explanation meter.
The effort, the explanation effort meter. We'll have to teach you guys about that. Yeah, the explanation effort meter. Kelsey says mine gets pegged at the ceiling a lot. But anyways, to answer your question, to go all in on Proline specifically, was I think all of us have an inherent desire to like want to be like have a purpose, right? We want to have value. We want to be like, we want to feel a sense of importance in what we do, where we exist, things like that. And when I got into the pavement industry, like when I got into Proline, I had no idea what parking lot maintenance was. I've parked my car in a parking space for many, many years, but I never even thought about who paints the dang lines for me to know where to park it. I've been inconvenienced by parking lot repairs getting done for many years, but I never thought about the company that was doing it, except for being pissed off that they couldn't drive through the parking lot like I normally do. But when I got into it, I've always been that kind of like want to push and drive and get something figured out. Well, as I started kind of talking with other companies, talking with clients, things like that, there was just a lot of things that I was hearing about the industry that seemed like there was a lot of room for improvement. And so a lot of opportunity for growth, not just from a business standpoint or from a revenue standpoint or things like that, but for an opportunity to make a name for, like, selfishly, like myself in the industry. Like, this is somewhere where I could go and be somebody. Because in the fire service, there's a lot of firemen out there that have made a name for themselves in the fire service, and people know them. Like, there are, like, I guess you'd call it, like, famous firemen for things that they've brought to the service. And I had that kind of drive to want to do that. I'm like, well, I want to freaking be somebody. Like, I don't want to just live my life as a little freaking shadow, and die and nobody knows who I am. I want to have a purpose. And but the thing that really separated that stuff is getting out of the fire department is, like, I had to ask myself one day, I'm like, would I want to die for this? Like, if I died doing this right now, would people be able to say that Daniel died doing what he loved? The part about that they would be able to say yes is he died helping people. That's what a fireman is you just help people, whether it's grandma with a stub toe or somebody whose house is literally burning down. So you get to help people, and that is something I've always loved. I've always had a passion for that. But I didn't want to die for it. If I died for that, I'd be like, man, like, I just died kind of doing what I thought I needed to do, not what I wanted to do. And so the business stuff, I've always had that entrepreneurial thing. I know you said kind of outside of the entrepreneurial side of what brought me into Proline. You can add it. But
you can add it in.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just kind of part of it. Like, I've always had that passion, like ever since I was little, to be in business, to be a business owner and a business leader and things like that. So when I got to see that there was an opportunity to take a business to a level where I could make a difference and make an impact on an industry and all the people in and around it, I was like, let's go in on this. And that's kind of where we're at. And I think, so it's going on 8 years of being in the pavement industry. I've been fortunate to go to a lot of events, to meet a lot of people through social media and things like that, to really build relationships and stuff. And I think we're just now starting to scratch the surface of making like a microscopic amount of the impact that I think we're capable of making. Mm-hmm. But it's been 8 years of just like nonstop work and just like straight faith, honestly, a lot of days, because I've bought a lot of things over the years that I had no idea how I was going to pay for, and haven't missed a meal yet, right, Kelsey? That's what I always tell her every time we go take a risk on something. I don't know. I'm like, have we missed a meal yet? Nope. We might have eaten ramen noodles and freaking peanut butter and jelly, but we have not missed a meal yet.
That's good.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's a lot of people have a lot of different motives and motivators and things like that for business, which is totally fine. I have absolutely no problem with a person who says, I want to go into business to, just build wealth and become filthy rich. Like, cool. Like, it's your life, man. Like, the only thing I don't condone, obviously, if you're doing that for like at the expense of other people or for negative reasons or trying to get negative, things out of it, moral, unethical, illegal things, whatever it may be. But whatever people's motives are, as long as they're pure and there's something that they can scale and grow, go for it. Like, who am I to tell you that you can't, that's a bad motivator? I think that there's motivators that are better than others. that person who just wants to get rich, like eventually once you're rich, what do you do then? If you're somebody who says, I want to make an impact and have influence and things like that, well, that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a literally like endlessly scalable motivator. And the more that you have something like that to focus on, I think the more likely you are to actually get where you want to go and be fulfilled at the end of it.
I think it's going to be really cool. I mentioned 8 years. I think it's going to be really cool to look at like all the content and stuff we're putting out now and look at it 8 years from now.
Dude, yeah, because, so what happened? It's compound interest.
Yeah.
Right. So like the first 8 years, it was just like kind of trying to figure out how to get by.
Yeah.
Well, I say the first 8 years, the first 6 years, I'd say the last 2, we started kind of dialing in more of our processes and systems and figuring out how to really operate as a company, not a guy with some people willing to help him. So there's that side of it. But for that first big gap, like that first 8 years, we're just figuring out how to not die in this like ocean of big fish coming for us. Because we're not this petty little company that is just, minding our own business. Like we're a disruptor and we know that, and I'm totally fine with it. So it's one of those things, like I said earlier about the haters, hearing like when people are talking about you, whether it's good or bad, whatever. Like for a while, I didn't really think about it. Now that people are talking about it, I love it. I think it's great. Like we want to disrupt the industry for all the right reasons, not for causing problems, not for like making anyone suffer because of it, whatever it is. It's because we want to go and build something that's going to make a difference in the industry. That's part of our mission here at Proline is we want to impact lives in a positive way for people in and around the pavement maintenance industry. And that's what we're doing. So like you said, 8 years from now, with the content that we're pumping out, with the initiatives that we're taking, with the abilities that we have to be able to give. I mean, hell, 2 years ago, we did our Give More campaign where literally every month we just found a new cause or a new charity or whatever it was to just donate money to, raise and donate money to, and to get more community involvement and to get more relationships built and more impact made because of the platform we're building. 8 years from now, like I can promise you guys, like it's definitely going to take 8 years. It's probably going to take 8 months at this rate. But like where we're sitting right now in this studio, aka the other half of my office, like not like my office, like my room in the office, like literally 5 feet over there is my desk where I work every single day, and this is the table that we have our weekly meetings on. But in no time, like we're going to have a platform built that, similar to our friends over at the Paving Group and One Team Media and Top Contractor Media, like they're building out a platform for people to have a voice. And that's what I like. I mean, Randy Kaufman over here, like he was doing his videography and his freelance work and stuff like that. And people were seeing your stuff, but I want you to be able to talk about your story. Because your buddy Corbin or your older brother or anybody else, Corbin, right? You looked at me funny, like I messed up his name. All right. So like anybody who like is in your sphere of influence, like they want to know more about Randy. Yeah, you get to hang out and you talk with him, you shoot the shit, whatever it is. But like to be able to hear about Randy's life from a professional standpoint, like that's something that they don't get to hear about often. And think about Amanda or Kate or Mason or Ezra or JJ or Mo or Mo Moments or Moments. Yeah. So it's like all these people have a story. And the more that we can get the story out there, the more impact we get to make. And that's just what it comes down to. I mean, I know you've already said it, giving me the compliment, which I appreciate, but like that is my driver. I'm hard on people here, and I'll use a Sal Frisella quote. All right. So Andy Frisella's brother, he's now the president of First Form, which, like I said, I had my First Form energy drink. So if any of you First Form folks are listening, I support you guys. But he has a quote, and it's on my other office, in my old office board. It says, "It's not that I don't like you. It's that I expect more out of you than you expect out of yourself, and I will hold you accountable." That's what it comes down to. Like that's all it is. That's a pure motive. It's not to be an asshole to people. It's not to be a jerk when they mess something up, whatever it is. It's I expect more out of you than you expect out of yourself, and I will hold you accountable. You brought up you worked remote when you started here, and like it wasn't part of your job description to have to come in here. But I remember a conversation we had. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like working from home. Well, it's like, it's not bad, but like, I feel like my time management's a little better here. I'm like, yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
Why is that? You know, it's like, well, I kind of get distracted with this or that. And it's not that it's a problem. It's just you're being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to ask you the questions to hold you accountable for it. And now, like, when you come here, like, you're saying, man, I love being here. Yeah. Like, I love hanging out with the people, and you love Mr. Finn, right? Yeah. We know Randy loves Finn. Yep. He's going to, y'all watch out for his Finstagram coming soon.
Yes, sir.
So, but Randy's building personal brands for everybody, including my freaking dog. But, you know, it is what it is, as he's sleeping under my desk over here. But no, man, it's fun. I know I just kind of went on a little rant about how much fun it is, but it's exciting. No, the journey we're on and where we're going. And I mean, like I said, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's that constructive criticism is like the big part of that is like, I want to hear you tell me like, hey, content you're putting out, it's not really up to your standard. Like, I want to hear that stuff. I want to make sure that, like, you know, that doesn't offend me. It's hard to offend me.
Well, you're putting this on the record, just so you know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it.
No, man, it's good. You've been kicking ass for the last 6 months, and we've got forever to go.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a lot to come. It's definitely gonna be the last time we get him on here, guys. I know Angry Randy, which I guess we have to address the Hangry. I mean, we're only 50 minutes in here and haven't addressed it. So, didn't you you did something recently?
I attempted a 72-hour water fast.
Attempted?
Yeah.
Did you not complete it?
I did 55 hours.
Why'd you stop?
I had to listen to my body. I got a little lightheaded and didn't really.
Weren't able to finish it.
Yeah.
Huh? That's okay.
Yeah. I broke the fast I guess I didn't really like eat a full meal till 72 hours, but I broke the fast a little bit earlier than I wanted to. But while we were in San Antonio, I was or it wasn't San Antonio. Yeah. Is when we got back.
No, it was at pizzeria.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't eat. And I got a little angry and grumpy. And that's when, you know, Kelsey kept bringing it up. And, you know, every trip I've been on, I've gotten a new nickname.
Yeah, the first one was Rodney. Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Yeah.
We need to get Brandon on here.
Yeah.
No, it was Jay.
It was Jay.
Jay Duran. I know Jay listens to this podcast, so thanks a lot, Jay. You started it. Brandon carried it on, though.
Yes.
He really drilled it home.
Yeah.
Rodney.
Yeah. You guys don't call me that as often anymore. I mean, you do.
Well, this last trip you got Andy.
Yeah, that was Ben just stumbling his words. That one didn't stick like Rodney did.
Fortunately. Rodney's good, though. You could be a Rodney.
I prefer Randy. Call me Media Master, Media Wizard.
You keep going to Media Wizard.
You said that.
No, you did.
You did.
I would never use the word wizard.
Someone brought it up. It wasn't me first. I don't make nicknames.
It's probably our Harry Potter loving total boss over here.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Randy gets a little hangry. And so when he gets hangry, he gets angry.
Yeah.
And then we either have to leave Randy alone or feed him.
Yeah.
So Randy's mom and dad, what's her name?
JD and Joanna.
JD?
Yep.
And Joanna.
Yeah.
So JD and Joanna, just so you know, we do make sure Randy gets fed. Okay. I don't know if y'all are listening to this right now. I hope you are.
Share this with him.
Yeah, I hope you are listening to this. You should be proud of your son. He's freaking kicking ass over here. And he is under a lot of I don't want to say pressure, but he has high expectations to uphold, and he definitely exceeds them on a regular basis. So, yeah, y'all be proud of him. I'm proud of him. All you listeners out there, show us how proud you are of him by dropping some comments in here, and maybe it'll have something to do with a raise Randy gets. You just never know what might come out of paving the way. So we go off the rails.
Off the rails.
Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me today. Like I said, we'll get on here again and
absolutely.
What do they say? Chop it up or something like that? I don't know. People use weird terms these days. That's a Daniel Good term. He's all about chopping it up. So appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. As always, guys, please do us a favor as we're trying to build this platform, trying to make more of an impact, trying to get the word out there. Drop some comments, share it, like it, whatever it may be. We love all the support. We like hearing the feedback, and we like hearing what you guys like, what you don't like, and what you want more of. So